When we look back at this greatest Royal Rumble we just got done seeing, what are you gonna like? What are you gonna remember the most? All the returns, all the surprises in the Royal Rumble match itself, the fact that there were 50 guys, Daniel Bryan being the Iron Man, breaking Rey Mysterio's record and pretty much shattering it to where, unless they do another 50-man Royal Rumble, nobody will come close to beating that record for a long time. Half of the show being nothing but a glorified house show that none of us should have seen in the first goddamn place, or the fact that Roman Reigns is still not your Universal Champion, and that Vince McMahon again pulled out some bullshit fuckery to keep the title on Brock Lesnar. After tonight, Roman Reigns is done. If he gets another title shot, which I can see because of the way the match ended, it's bullshit. This guy has just gifted every fucking thing just to try and do what they can. And by the way, Vince, you failed again. You wanted that huge ovation. You wanted the fans of Saudi Arabia to cheer and give adulation to Roman Reigns. And what happened? His music hits and boos immediately. Graham Hamilton announces him, boos immediately. He was booed in Saudi Arabia. No matter where you fucking go, Roman Reigns is going to be fucking booed. It does not matter, Vince. Give the guy the title or end the goddamn experiment, plain and simple. You had your chances. WrestleMania 31, he wasn't ready. WrestleMania 32, he wasn't ready. WrestleMania 33, he should have never faced The Undertaker. WrestleMania 34, you failed. Trying to crown. What are you going to do now? Backlash on Monday, we're going to be like, at Backlash, it's going to be, Backlash, we have Roman Reigns versus Samoa Joe. And there's no title on the line because Samoa Joe isn't a champion, and neither is Roman Reigns. What are we going to see a world champion unless they do something with Shinsuke Nakamura versus AJ Styles for the WWE Championship, which that ended. I'm not a fan of double countouts, but I can see why they did it. It does, having a great match, and, having a great match like these guys were in this match that Shinsuke Nakamura and AJ Styles had tonight was leagues better than what they did at WrestleMania. This match we had until the end should have been the match we had at WrestleMania, and then some. Honestly, I think if we took out the John Cena and Triple H match and gave that half of that time to this match and the rest of that time to another match, this match felt like it was shorted. They're building Shinsuke Nakamura versus AJ Styles, and they could fight for the rest of the year. This could be the New Day and Usos feud of the year, because I'm pushing anything WWE does on SmackDown, because this is on SmackDown, is held to that feud for Usos and New Day. That was the best feud of last year, and this Shinsuke Nakamura and AJ Styles feud looks to be the feud of the year on the main roster. And the WWE's main feud of the year is going to be in NXT, but on the main roster, AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura is going to be the feud of the year if they do play their cards right and don't fuck it up. This show was 5 hours-ish. Yeah, it was a little under 5 hours. We just clipped under 5 hours. We had the Royal Rumble match was fun. If you don't see Titus O'Neil's entrance in the Royal Rumble, we'll get to it later, then you are missing out on one of the greatest moments in wrestling history. One of the funniest, greatest moments in wrestling history. I'll get to it later, but it was. I was laughing. I missed it on live because I was trying to figure out who got eliminated before he came in, because I was writing down who comes in and who got eliminated, and one person got eliminated, and the second person got eliminated before I got a chance to see who it was. I went back, I came back, and Michael Cole was just laughing hysterically. I see Titus O'Neil's under the ring, and I'm like, what the hell is going on here? And we'll get to that later. That's funny. This show started off with, they played both national anthems from Saudi Arabia than the United States, because that's something you kind of do when, if you're not used to this, if you're like, why are they doing this? This doesn't make any sense. When you have, say the NBA brings two teams over to Saudi Arabia to play a basketball game, they're going to play the national anthem for Saudi Arabia, and they're going to do the same thing for the United States. Same thing like when the NFL goes to London, they play the national anthem in the United States, and they play the United Kingdom national anthem, just to pay respects to both countries coming together to put on a show. So The whole thing about tonight was not about who won the match. Like, who won, who didn't. This whole thing overall, in big picture, was not anything related to WWE in a whole. It was helping Saudi Arabia just open up and change and help them change a little bit more for the better for themselves, because a lot of people did gripe about Saudi Arabia not having any women on this card at all, because they couldn't have Nia Jax versus Alexa Bliss or Charlotte versus Carmella here, because it was against the customs of Saudi Arabia. They did have a intermission because of religious beliefs over there, and that's fine. They had like 15 minutes, and they did a video package of things that they saw in Saudi Arabia, and they showed some clippings like women are allowed to drive over there now. It was like 3 decades too late, but it's still great to see. Adam Blampier, former What Culture, and was going to be a cultaholic, but things happened. He said in a long set of tweets, and I'm not going to go through it all, but he was like, if not this year, but say 5, 6, 7 years from now, or 10 years from now, that Saudi Arabia actually allows women to compete in the wrestling ring, then everything that was done tonight was worth it. The show was not the best at all. I mean, the Rumble was the best of the whole night. It wasn't a bad Rumble. Of course, we didn't have a championship opportunity on the line, so that kind of simmered down a lot of things to it. Daniel Bryan put on a hell of a performance, and we had a lot of NXT tonight as well in this match. Some that, like 2 that are on NXT TV regularly, and the rest of it from the Performance Center. But we got a lot of guys in that match from NXT. So NXT got to be shown off, and that is an awesome thing. I will say one thing, spoiler alert, one of them was the Undisputed Era, and it wasn't Adam Cole. So Undisputed Era is shocking the system at Royal Rumble in January and Royal Rumble today. This show started off with John Cena versus Triple H, and this match bored the hell out of me. I had trouble sleeping last night, and I was hoping to start off with a match that was going to get me pumped and ready for the show, and I wanted to fall asleep and just pass out. This match sucked. I mean, they started off, they circled around, they walk up, Triple H throws down John Cena, and then they stop. And they watch the crowd, like, just sit there and cheer. And I'm like, I know it's the first time you've done this event live from Saudi Arabia, but at least have the match. Don't sit there and just stall. That's wasting time. They do it again with John Cena throwing Triple H down, and then they stall again. And I'm like, come on. No one else does it than the rest of the night, but, you know. This match just, like, was boring as can be. This match was something that should have been on a house show and not a major event as they made this out to be. This was not, it wasn't as good as a WrestleMania, but they built this up as being, like, on the same level as WrestleMania. They had a stage, they had pyro, they had they had all the bells and whistles of this being a WrestleMania, but it wasn't a WrestleMania. It was the greatest Royal Rumble, which I don't know if they're going to be doing this on a yearly basis for the next 10 years. I hope the hell not, because I don't want to have any, and if they're going to do something, not Royal Rumble, but something in Saudi Arabia, you need to cut out a pay-per-view or something, and put this not in the same month as WrestleMania. June, July, like June, I'd say May or June, September, October, or I would say October. No. I'd have to say June, because there's not too much as you can say about any other ones. June, so you have May or June would be the best time, probably June. So you have a month, you have WrestleMania, then May, then June, with whatever they didn't do. July, and then SummerSlam. Then you have August, September, October, November, you know, all that good stuff. But, of course, they kind of canceled that out with the Big Five. If you want to make Money in the Bank a non-Big Five and make this for the next 10 years one of your Big Five, and just make this a balls to walls and actually build, because other than the Universal Championship match for this show, there was absolutely no fucking build whatsoever on TV. Other than Samoa Joe saying he was going to win the Intercontinental title, they showed a bunch of highlight packages going up to this, but there was no build to this show. Anyway, back to this. Both men battling for the test of strength. The test of strength is, I'm fine with the test of strength, but this just looks they look slow and old. Triple H has a little dad gut going on with the little abs in it. This match, again, was bad. The match comes to an end when and of course John Cena won. He lifts Hunter up, hits an AA, then a slingshot into the corner, which that was pretty cool. Instead of doing the attitude adjustment, then rolling through and doing another one, he was like, I'm going to hit an attitude adjustment, then a slingshot you into the turnbuckle and hit another one for the 3, and he won the match. STS pedigree attempts, so it was a pedigree hit. John Cena hit, this was interesting, this was cutting it close as close can be. Towards the end of this match, Triple H gets hit with an attitude adjustment. Cena pins him, 1, 2, and it was like the referee's hand was so close to hitting the mat, and Triple H didn't even get an arm up, he got his shoulder up. It looked like Michael Cole was even shocked. I mean, of course, Michael Cole's probably scripted to say all this shit because, as we all know, he has all his notes on a yellow pad. But post-match, Cena says, "What an honor and a privilege to be a part of an event like today, regardless of what was happening in my world. I was not missing this for anything. I want to thank Saudi Arabia for its hospitality, and thank you for allowing me to be for being a part of something special." So John Cena beat Triple H, as most people probably figured. I got every one of these matches right except for the WWE Championship match, which we'll get to later. Well, yeah. Cruiserweight Championship match, Kalisto versus Cedric Alexander. This was a good match. This was a high-flying Cruiserweight style match. This is exactly what it needed to be. Back and forth between these two. Cedric Alexander did hit. I honestly thought Kalisto got a concussion in this match because Cedric Alexander did a jumping drop kick to Kalisto that he hit him so hard in the face. I mean, Kalisto puts his arm up trying to block, but his head just yanked back so hard. I was like, there's no fucking way this guy does not have some kind of concussion after that, or some kind of broken jaw line or something, because Kalisto took that shot hard. Springboard, like the sitting springboard Spanish fly by Kalisto for a 2 count, and then an SDS turned into the lumbar check for a 3 count, and winner and still the Cruiserweight champion, Cedric Alexander. So 0 for 1 on title changes so far. Raw Tag Team title match, the Leader of Worlds versus the Bar. I really didn't give a shit about this match. I didn't think the Bar had any shot whatsoever, even though they came out on... They pretty much tried to save face on SmackDown this past Tuesday, telling you, oh, well, when we win the Raw Tag Team titles back, we're just going back to Raw, which, honestly, after the Superstar Shakeup last year, Chris Jericho faced Kevin Owens for the United States Championship, which he lost at WrestleMania, and if Chris Jericho won that match, he was going to SmackDown. My feeling is if the Superstar Shakeup is the only time the titles can switch brands. As soon as the titles switch brand, as soon as the Superstar Shakeup is over, titles are locked in whatever brand they're in. So tonight's matches, if Jinder Mahal won the United States Championship, he goes back to SmackDown. If Samoa Joe or Miz win the Intercontinental title, they go back to Raw. That's just how it should be. Bray Wyatt and Matt Hardy win this with an elevated twist of fate for the 3 count, and you have new tag team champions, making Bray Wyatt a 2-time, and that makes him a Raw and SmackDown tag team champion. The only other guy to be a tag team champion of both Raw and SmackDown. He's the third. Jason Jordan, The New Day, and the 5th, if you want to say it right. Jason Jordan, all 3 members of The New Day are first, with New Day, of course, coming first, Jason Jordan, and then Bray Wyatt. Then, of course, at this time, Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy are both champions on different brands. So Hardy Boys are doing pretty well, and Bray Wyatt's career for this moment in time has been resurrected. I want to see these guys hold these titles until at least SummerSlam. So we got May, June, July, and then August, losing to the Authors of Pain. And then, of course, fight, chase for the titles, do whatever they need to do a final deletion, or the ultimate deletion or something with the AOP at the Hardy compound, and win the tag team titles back there. They couldn't beat them in WWE's world, so they had to bring them to Matt Hardy's world. Do that at Survivor Series. Yeah, do that at Survivor Series. Because Survivor Series is the lowest of all the big time pay-per-views. Have that be the thing that opens the show, and Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt, if you want to, just do that on the pre-show, whatever, but have Matt Hardy, Bray Wyatt win the tag team titles back, have the AOP win them at SummerSlam, hold them till November, have Bray Wyatt and Matt Hardy beat them in a, whatever you want to call it, deletion match at the Hardy compound, because the AOP run the Book of Chaos in WWE world, but in I said but so many times, but in Matt Hardy's world, they are powerless to the Woken Ones, and you can have those guys battle over the titles for the rest of the year. Because quite honestly, the Revival suck. The Breezango are going to do absolutely nothing, and there's no one else really. Jinder Mahal versus Jeff Hardy for the United States Championship, botch number 1 of the night. Major botch number 1 of the night. Jeff Hardy goes up for the Whisper in the Wind. Jinder Mahal was out of place. Jeff Hardy goes up, hits the Whisper, goes up for the Whisper in the Wind, lands, because I was like, oh, Jinder Mahal moved out of the way. Until Jinder Mahal, like the dumbest motherfucker in the goddamn world, fucking jumps sideways and falls on his back. That's going to be in Botchamania. That was botch number 1 of the night. Twist of Fate, Stunner plus Swanton Bomb after Sunil Singh tries to get involved, of course allowing Jinder Mahal to try and hit the Colossus. Eventually that gets turned into a Twist of Fate Stunner, Swanton Bomb, and Jeff Hardy is still your champion. Which means Jeff Hardy versus Randy Orton, which they had been building on SmackDown subtly. No voices, no words between these two, but having them one come out, like Randy Orton come out, but his music starts, Jeff Hardy shows up, and then the next week Jeff Hardy's coming out, but Randy Orton comes up afterwards. That's just building towards a title match for him, and I'm glad they're going that route. Randy Orton versus Jeff Hardy was, in fact, one of my favorite feuds when they were going for the WWE Championship. When Jeff Hardy swantoned off the old Raw set, that like 50 feet in the air, like 25 or 30 feet, 40 feet in the air, onto a prone Randy Orton years and years and years ago. So I'm hoping to see what these guys can do. It will be something good at Backlash. Usos versus the Bludgeon Brothers SmackDown Live Tag Team Titles match. Full Nelson Powerbomb, which I would have to say WWE is listening to somebody, because I said along when the Bludgeon Brothers made their debut that the finisher they were using at the time was shit, where they both grab someone's arm and just pulls them up and throws them down in a leg drop. This looks more devastating. This Full Nelson into a powerbomb combo. I said that as soon as they used that the first time as a setup move, I'm like, that should be the finisher. And that's what they have been using for their finisher. So I'm taking credit for that one. For the 3 count, and they beat the Usos to retain the title. Usos did get a lot of offense in on the Bludgeon Brothers, so it wasn't a total squash. This, I think, was the most in danger the Bludgeon Brothers have been to losing a match. Of course, I didn't see them losing the match whatsoever, but that was that. Ladder match for the Intercontinental Championship: Miz, Balor, and Joe Miz versus Joe versus Balor versus Rollins. No Balor, no Demon still, but you know WWE's probably waiting for a big one-on-one match. I can understand why they didn't want to use it at WrestleMania in a triple threat. The last time we saw the Demon, of course, was against AJ Styles at TLC when it was supposed to be Bray Wyatt, and the mump saved his career. And look where he's at now. He's a tag team champion, and Balor hasn't had nothing. Balor goes. It was a fun match. Joe destroyed a lot of people. I didn't like the way the match ended, which was Balor was climbing up. I understand why they did it, because it's going to set up Balor versus Rollins for the Intercontinental title, probably coming out of Backlash going into the Extreme Rules, which I think is the next pay-per-view after that. Balor's going up to the top, like climbing. He's climbing, like so. He's like doing the whole struggling thing. Rollins, who was taken out by Samoa Joe, springboards like AJ Styles style, no pun intended, up onto the ladder and just hurries up and grabs his title and rips it down. And I'm like, really? I know why they did it, because Balor was so close. The other two are on SmackDown, so they're out of the picture anyway. But he was so close to getting that Intercontinental title, and it was ripped away by Seth Rollins. The springboard thing I didn't have a problem with. It's the fact that you've been getting your ass kicked this entire match by Samoa Joe, Miz, and Balor. And Samoa Joe, I believe it was, took you out of this match in a devastating move, and you're just going to spring up and run up like you just started the match. If you wanted to do it, I would have had him spring up, those two fight, and he knocks Balor off. You still would have got the effect that Balor was just there, but Seth Rollins still got the win by knocking him off the mat, off the ladder. I didn't like the way the match ended, just because it was like Balor was getting there, and it's like the springboard was fine. It was just the fact that Seth Rollins has been taking a beating in this match. He's getting his ass kicked, thrown on ladders, beaten down, thrown off top of the ladder. and like he's out of the match taking a powder. Did he like drink some Michael Jordan special juice or something, or some kind of like vitamins to get his energy back? Because there's no way that's just bad selling, in my opinion. That is bad selling of the match. You're going through this match, getting your ass kicked, and you're just gonna springboard onto the ladder, and just hurry up as fast as you can and rip the title down. Anticlimactic, in my opinion. It would have been better, I believe, if he would have like got up, and him and Balor were fighting, and then whatever they needed to do to have him knock him over. He, tired as can be, looks up at the title, looks around and pulls his title down. Balor still gets which Balor's eye got cut open. I don't know how the hell that happened, and then Balor's like down on the mat instead of on the ladder. Like I was so having that thought of I was so close, and Seth outsmarted me, beat me for the title. They're still going to set it up for Backlash. I'm pretty sure, not Backlash, because Miz. Honestly, since the Intercontinental title's on Raw still, SmackDown still got the U.S. title, I think the Miz should have to vacate his Intercontinental title match and give it to Finn Balor. But I think they'll save that for the Extreme Rules pay-per-view, and I think Finn Balor needs to turn heel. I think Finn Balor needs to turn heel for this feud, because like we saw with Shinsuke Nakamura versus AJ Styles. Yeah, a one-time match between two great guys is one thing, but if you want to have a long feud between these two, Finn Balor and Seth Rollins, one of them needs to turn heel, and it does not need to be Seth Rollins. So I'm hoping towards after Backlash, it will have to be after Backlash because he's still dealing with the whole Miz thing. Unless they vacate that and say, well, Miz is on SmackDown still, so the Intercontinental title's on Raw. Miz is going to have to lose his title match, which then on SmackDown, Paige can be like, well, you had a rematch clause, so we're going to make, of course, the U.S. title match at Backlash a triple threat match, fatal four-way if they want to add Shelton Benjamin, whatever. Probably what they're going to do anyway. And then we can have Seth Rollins versus Finn Balor, and Finn Balor turns heel on Seth Rollins because, next Sunday is Backlash, and we'll be getting to that eventually. Then we had 4 prospects from a tryout from last week's show. Moving on. There was I guess Pro Wrestling Unlimited and PW Insider were saying one of these guys was going to be in the Rumble match, and I'll tell you right now, they were not. All of a sudden, towards the end of this thing, the Daivari brothers, Sean and Arya Daivari, come out, and I'm like, okay, there's rumor that WWE is going to be doing SmackDown Cruiserweight Tag Team Championships. If they sign Sean Daivari to a contract again, this is not I figured he was going to be him and Arya might have been in the Royal Rumble, but neither of them were. But I was thinking, if Sean Daivari got signed again to WWE, and Sean and Arya were tag team, we would have the Lucha House Party, the Akira Tozawa and Hideo Itami team, and this team of the Daivari brothers. That's 3 tag teams right there. Jack Gallagher and Brian Kendrick. That's 4 teams right there. For a cruiserweight division with 1 hour show right now, that's sufficient enough to do a tournament. The Daivari brothers versus probably Lucha House Party, and of course it would come down to Hideo Itami and Akira Tozawa versus the Lucha House Party for the tag team titles in a mini little tournament. They have enough to do a mini tournament. They don't have to go and find 16 teams or something. 4 teams, 3 matches. The winners of the tournament wins the tag team titles the first time. That's what I could see. Maybe that's why the Daivari was shown tonight. Came back, like the Daivari brothers. We have the Hardy Boys. We got the Daivari brothers. There you go. WWE Championship match, AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura. This match was way better than what they did at the WrestleMania, which, like I said before, the end of the match, this match should have been what we got. Nakamura really didn't change up his style in the beginning. I mean, the only thing he did, instead of putting his head down and waving back and forth the first time, he just shoves his hand on AJ Styles' head. He does let the match get a lot more vicious and violent. I hope to see a lot more of that from Shinsuke Nakamura. These guys, if you've seen them wrestle before in WWE, if you've seen both of these guys wrestle before in WWE, they really still didn't pull out all the stops. They were in a better pace, faster pace. They did feel like they were more comfortable with wrestling this match in front of a big audience, and it wasn't a Total, it was way better than what we saw at WrestleMania for sure. Shinsuke Nakamura, of course, does low blow AJ Styles when AJ Styles is going for the phenomenal forearm. I was like, oh, the referee's gonna get knocked down. Shinsuke Nakamura, of course, has his back turned. The referee's standing right behind him. Why they do these things, I don't know. Shinsuke Nakamura turns around, moves out of the way. AJ Styles does not nail the referee. He actually stops. Shinsuke Nakamura comes up behind and low blows AJ Styles. I'm like, that's it. AJ Styles is going to lose the WWE Championship virtually the same way he won his first WWE Championship, with a low blow like he did, but of course he hit the Styles Clash after he kicked Dean Ambrose in the dick. So he wraps both feet up. 1, 2, AJ Styles gets his hands on the rope, and Shinsuke Nakamura is not happy about that. These two battle a little bit more, and then eventually they get outside. AJ Styles is pissed as fuck. These two fight all around the announce tables and everything, and of course the referee counts them out. So we have a double count out. Like I said, they didn't bring out everything. They brought out a little bit more. They were a little bit more faster paced. They had a little bit more freedom. It felt like this wasn't bogged down like it was at WrestleMania. When I first saw the double count out, I'm like, oh come on, really? This Greatest Royal Rumble event, you're gonna do this double count out? Then I was thinking about it. They're going, and the fact that after the match was over, after the double count out, AJ Styles goes out, grabs a chair, and just starts wailing on Shinsuke Nakamura. Pissed as fuck, wants to end this shit, and I have a feeling like if the title match isn't going to be a Backlash, then at Extreme Rules, we will probably have some kind of chairs match, Extreme Rules match, or something between these two. But honestly, if these two fight till October, AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura should be a Hell in a Cell match going into Hell in a Cell this year. No dead fans or buts about it. If you keep these two fighting over the WWE Championship till the end of the year, they should be inside Hell in a Cell to end their feud. I said it here first. If it happens, look back at this Greatest Royal Rumble review and you'll know where you heard it. Undertaker versus Rusev in the casket match. I honestly did not give a fuck about this match. I am over the Undertaker. I am 100% over the Undertaker. I've seen him enough after last year. I didn't want to see the match against John Cena at WrestleMania, and I didn't want to see this. Rusev did last a lot longer. Undertaker did do a lot more in this match. But in the end, Rusev is dead and buried. Rusev Day is done. Him and Aiden English both got stuffed in the casket, and for whatever fucking reason, they had a camera in the casket so you could see from another perspective that both guys fit in the casket before they shut the lid. Taker wins, and that's that. Then we come to the match that was pathetic as hell. This match is Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar for the Universal Championship in a steel cage match with a controversial ending. It was pretty much basically more of the same that we saw at WrestleMania. Brock Lesnar comes out and hits Roman Reigns with like 3 or 4 German suplexes, hits him with one F5, and is like, Roman Reigns looked like he died. He was just laying there as like a dead weight. Until Brock Lesnar picks him up and was like, you know what? He kicked out of an F5 last time. I'm going to hit him with the second one. Puts him up in the second F5. Roman Reigns comes back to life miraculously, hits him with a couple Superman punches, and it was more of the same back and forth. Brock Lesnar, I think, is afraid of heights, though. Roman Reigns goes towards like the middle of this match, goes to try and leave via the cage up top. Brock Lesnar eventually throws him down. Brock Lesnar then looks like he's trying to leave from the top of the cage, and this dude looked like he was scared shitless. Like, he did not want to be up on this fucking cage. Of course, Roman Reigns brought him down. They brought a little bit more, fought a little more. Suplex, spear, Superman punch, F5. Brock Lesnar's down. Roman Reigns goes to leave the cage through the door when Paul Heyman did what I thought he should have did, was run over and throw the door in his face. Now, what I was hoping he would have did was go under the ring, grab a chain, and lock that door. Lock the door, so the only way out was over the top of the cage. That didn't happen. He grabbed the chair, threw it in the ring, and usually with WWE, what happens? You bring in, like, manager brings in brings in foreign weapon for their client or their business associate, and it gets used against them. Case in point, it did here. Brock Lesnar got the hell beat out of him with a chair. No blood in this match, even though Brock Lesnar did get thrown into into the cage multiple times, and we know how Brock Lesnar can bleed easily. One bad hit to Brock Lesnar, and he gets, and that's it. So we're coming down to the end of the match. Brown, we get the super spear, which if you know what the super spear is, Roman Reigns bounces off one, he runs and hits, bounces off one rope, runs the other way, bounces off another one, hits a spear, and only got a 2 count. Couple more spears. Brock Lesnar's sitting, for whatever fucking reason, is pretty much prone on the steel grate towards the entranceway, behind the ropes. Roman Reigns decides he's going to spear Brock Lesnar, spears him through the cage. The cage didn't fly to the left, it didn't fly to the right, it didn't fly up, it flew back and landed backwards. Brock Lesnar hits, but he's still on the grate. He's still on the grate, the steel mesh of the cage. Roman Reigns falls on top of him, rolls off, and hits the floor. But they gave Brock Lesnar the win. The rules of the match are the first feet to touch the floor, not the mesh of the not the mesh of the cage, the floor. The winner is the winner of the match. So this will be the Roman Reigns is going to probably come out on Monday and bitch and moan that he won the match because his feet actually touched the floor, which he would actually be right. Brock Lesnar won the match by a technicality. He was on the mesh of the cage. I'm not fucking voting for Roman Reigns to say he should be champion, but he flew back. He went backwards, and his back he's still on the mesh. Roman Reigns rolls off of him, and he touches the floor. Not the mesh of the cage, but on the floor. So, what you want to bet that we're going to get Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar in a Hell in a Cell or some other fucking stipulation, no holds barred, or something else, or if we're going to probably get the metal, let's get the old blue cage or the black metal bars, the blue square bars. Let's do that one and reinforce those so no one can break out of them. But I'm done with this. This is it. This was Roman Reigns' last shot. The experiment has to end. There was no fucking reason to give this guy another shot. I know, yes, there was controversy, and they'll probably play that up. Oh, Roman got screwed. Roman should have another shot. Kurt Angle will probably come out and give him another shot because, yeah, the rules of the match will say the first feet to touch the floor. Yes, if you fall back first out of the cage, which I think that's kind of dumb because there have been times in steel cage matches when somebody's body is out but their feet aren't, so the match isn't over. That's fucking stupid. This is one of those times that Roman Reigns is going to be able to sit there and say, hey, I got screwed. I won this match because he's still on the steel mesh. I rolled off of him, and I'm on the floor. He's still on the steel mesh. Why am I not the Universal Champion? So, again, he's going to have a gripe, and they're actually going to give him a legit reason. Vince McMahon probably heard all the backlash of why were they giving the championship when he didn't, the championship match when he didn't deserve it. And he's like, oh, I'm going to outsmart them. I'm going to give Roman Reigns a reason why he gets another shot. Oh, I'm smarter than all the fans. Give me a fucking break. This was fucking pathetic. Same old shit, different fucking show. Why did you fucking sacrifice WrestleMania for this bullshit? All of WrestleMania was sacrificed for this show. They built a glorified house show up for a 50-man Royal Rumble and 7 title matches, a casket match that wasn't needed, just burying Rusev anymore, a match between John Cena and Triple H that desperately was not needed. Triple H was like, this needed no build because it's 2 icons going one-on-one. No, Triple H, this needed build. This did not do anything for anyone. That match sucked. This entire, except for the Cruiserweight, sucked. Until AJ Styles, Shinsuke Nakamura minus the finish in my opinion, but I see why they did it. The Cruiserweights, I'll get to the Rumble in a second. The Cruiserweights, Styles and Nakamura was it. The rest of this show was missed. This felt like a Raw or SmackDown. Like USA was like, okay, Vince, we're gonna let you have run a Monday Night Raw that goes from 7 p.m. to midnight. Run a Monday Night Raw from 7 p.m. to midnight. So as much as you're on there, let's see how the ratings go. That's how this felt. Outside of Shinsuke Nakamura, which I'm wanting, versus AJ Styles, which I'm wanting to see more, and the Cruiserweight match. Everything else up until this point was jack of shit garbage. Then we go on to the 50-man Greatest Royal Rumble match. Not going to go too much into it, as in who got what, but we do have the elimination and who came out order. First in was Dolph Ziggler and Daniel Bryan. They were the first two entrances. Daniel Bryan came out number one. Did he have a chance to win this? He did make it to the finals. I will talk about that later. Sin Cara was number two, who ended up being the first elimination. Curtis Axel was in at number four. He was the second elimination. Then came in Mark Henry. Mark Henry came in and he cleaned house with these two a little bit. And then in came Hiroki Sumai. Some sumo wrestler guy I've never fucking heard of. People like Michael Cole put him off as a big deal. I have no idea. Hiroki Sumai. Never heard of him. Mark Henry ended up... Oh, Mike Kanellis also came out first. First it was Mark Henry. Mike Kanellis came out and he got eliminated in 1 second. So they're like, oh my god, that must be a record. Vince McMahon, how many fucking times are you going to try and break Santino Marella's record? 1 fucking second is next to impossible to beat. Plain and simple. As soon as you step foot in the ring, there's one. There's not 10 tenths of a second, there's one, unless you're using a stopwatch. Well, that's going to be hard to beat. He gets eliminated in 1 second, then Hiroki Sumai comes out. He gets eliminated by Mark Henry by himself, and then Mark Henry gets eliminated by Daniel Bryan and Dolph Ziggler. I'm probably going to forget who eliminates who by the end, but Victor was out next, and if we go down here, Victor was the next one out. Let's see. Kofi Kingston was in, Tony Nese came in next, Dash Wilder was in next, and he ended up being the next elimination, with help from number 12, Hornswoggle. Yes, Hornswoggle was in this match. Dash Wilder was eliminated, then Hornswoggle tried to go up for a tactical splash. I kind of dispute his elimination because he went under the bottom rope, got to the top rope, never entered the ring again, and he got eliminated. So I think that they actually screwed up on him getting eliminated because you don't actually get back into the ring unless that on top of the top rope means you're in the ring. He got eliminated. Xavier Woods came out, then Bo Dallas, which of course Tony Nese was eventually hold on, where am I at? Yeah, Kurt Angle came out, Scott Dawson. Then we had Goldust. Tony Nese was also in there too. He ended up being eliminated. Let's go. I'm just going to get on the list of the rest of the people who were in. You had Kurt Angle, Scott Dawson, Goldust, Connor, Elias, which Michael Cole. Elias is the new Miz when Michael Cole was a heel, when a full-blown heel. He is Michael Cole's new Miz. Even when Elias was close to getting eliminated one time, they were over by the announce table when this was happening. He's actually reaching out to Cole and screaming, Cole, Cole, Cole. Wow. Luke Gallows, Rhino, Drew Gulak. Surprise, NXT surprise number 1. Tucker Knight was brought out. Tucker had a nice little bit of showing. I wish it would have been Otis Dosovich because was in by himself because that dude is a fucking trip, and I just love Otis Dosovich as a character. I think those two should stay as a tag team. But yeah, other than the New Day of Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston, I also have to say, no other tag teams really got to interact with each other or team up or anything because it was as soon as one guy got eliminated, his tag team partner was brought out next. Bobby Roode, Fandango, Rey Mysterio was out at 28. Mojo Rawley was at 29. Tyler Breeze was at 30. Biggie at 31. Carl Anderson at 32. Apollo Crews at 33. And then number 2, Mr. Shock the System himself, who turned on Pete Dunne, Roderick Strong, was at number 34. He got to display his backbreaking skills because he put backbreakers on everybody. Randy Orton was in next, who hit a nasty-looking RKO on Apollo Crews, who just came off the top rope, just to do the RKO out of nowhere. Heath Slater was out at 36. Baba Tunde was in at 37. Anybody who's asking, who's Baba Tunde? He's not on NXT yet, but coming out of not the tapings before, I believe it was the tapings before we went to WrestleMania. I believe it was this guy, and I'm pretty sure it was. Leo Rush had a dark match, and Leo Rush had a bodyguard. And I'm pretty sure Baba Tunde, which was this big, huge, bulking guy who looks like he would be a bouncer at a nightclub, was his bodyguard for this dark match. So it looks like Leo Rush, and I believe it's Baba Tunde, I could be wrong, but Baba Tunde was in this match. Baron Corbin was out next, and then number 39. Number 39, while this was going on, Baba Tunde or someone else eliminated Bobby Roode, and then I think it was Baron Corbin. Baron Corbin eliminated Bobby Roode, and then Roderick Strong. I saw the Bobby Roode one, and I was like, who the hell else did he eliminate? And it was Roderick Strong. While I was finding out who else he eliminated, Titus O'Neil makes his way down to the ring. He's running like everybody else. He slips, and Titus World Slide was born because he goes head first into the ring. Head first into the fucking ring, and Michael Cole, Corey Graves, and all of them are laughing their asses off. That is going to be talked about, and that is going to be a meme for years to come. Dan Matha was in next. If you don't know who Dan Matha is, he's a Performance Center guy too. They did put a video up of Tucker Knight and Dan Matha. I believe they were. I think they kind of spoiled Dan Matha and Tucker Knight being in this match because I believe those two were in Saudi Arabia for the the trials they had last week, and these two went into a tug of war, Dan Matha and Tucker Knight. So I think we should have saw those two being in this Royal Rumble because they were there last week. Tad Dillinger was at 42, not number 10. Quickly dispatched by Dan Matha and Baba Tunde were both eliminated about the same time by Braun Strowman, who came in at 41. 42 was Ty Dillinger. Kurt Hawkins, he was easily dispatched by Braun Strowman. Kurt Hawkins came in. Daniel Bryan was still in the match at this time, and everyone else, there was a couple other people still in the match. Kurt Hawkins music hits, and Braun Strowman is the only one in the ring. He gets to down towards the outside the ring, and he's like, "I'm not doing this," and tries to run out the way. Braun Strowman goes underneath the top rope, so it goes in between the top and middle rope, runs after him and catches him up, and just throws him back in the ring. And I don't think he eliminated him originally, but he did eventually. Bobby Lashley was out next, and then the Great Khali, Kevin Owens, Shane O'Mac, Shelton Benjamin, Big Cass, and Y2J Chris Jericho. No Roman Reigns, thank the fuck God. I could just see them doing that. Sin Cara, Curtis Axel, Mike Kanellis were the first three eliminations. Hiroka Sumai was the fourth. Mark Henry was after that by Daniel Bryan and Dolph Ziggler. Victor was eliminated, then Dash Wilder with Hornswoggle's help. Hornswoggle was eliminated, I believe, by Goldust. Tony Nese was eliminated after that. Bo Dallas, Primo, then after him. Dolph Ziggler, who was in the match for about 30 minutes, I believe, by then. Connor was eliminated. Then Kofi, Xavier, and Connor were all eliminated at the same time. I think it was by Baron Corbin, or I can't remember who, but they all got eliminated at the same time. Kurt Angle and Daniel Bryan started having a nice little mini match in the match. He actually hit and Daniel Bryan towards the end of this match looked like a fucking mess. He had chops. His match, they put the term out there, your chest looks like hamburger meat because of all the chops. Dude looked like he was just he looked like hamburger meat. His arm looked all messed up and everything. Daniel Bryan looked horrible. And not in a bad way, but just in he was in this match for so long, and we'll get to that time later. He was the Iron Man of this match, and he set a record that I don't think will ever get broken. But Kurt Angle ends up getting eliminated. Drew Gulak is eliminated after that. Goldust and Scott Dawson, Luke Gallows, Fandango, Tyler Breeze. It's funny. Fandango gets eliminated. Tyler Breeze is out. Tyler Breeze gets into the ring. He's getting words of encouragement from Fandango. So Tyler Breeze and Fandango pull Kofi. Tyler Breeze is on the top, was sent onto the outside, but he's on the apron. Fandango is still there. Mojo Rawley hits him and knocks him off, but Fandango catches him. They pull a Kofi. He's not eliminated. He gets back on the apron. For whatever fucking reason, he thought he was getting back in. Mojo Rawley's still standing there what the fuck, and just shoves him. I'm like, okay then. Tucker Knight gets eliminated after that. Chad Gable gets eliminated. Rhino then as well. Carl Anderson, Mojo Rawley then. Apollo Crews, Bobby Roode, Strong, Ben Tunda, Dan Matha, Big E, Slater, Titus O'Neil was at 35, eliminated. Ty Dillinger, Rey Mysterio, Baron Corbin, Randy Orton, Kurt Hawkins, Elias, Great Khali, Shelton Benjamin, Shane O'Mac. Oh my God, this was brutal as fuck. Shane O'Mac hits a coast to coast while this thing is somewhat semi-full on Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman powders out of the ring. Kevin Owens is in the corner. Shane McMahon's down from that because Shane McMahon should not be doing coast to coast anymore. He's hurting himself too much. And Shane O'Mac is down still. Daniel Bryan has Kevin Owens in the corner. He actually has to throw Kevin Owens in a corner on down towards the other end because Daniel McMahon's, all down at this corner. Makes it a little bit easier. Daniel Bryan does a couple kicks. He tells Shane McMahon go up for another coast to coast. Braun Strowman doesn't forget the coast to coast he ate earlier in the match. So he grabs Shane O'Mac, and Shane O'Mac loves doing daredevil shots, picks him up and tosses him in mid-fucking air through the announce table, and boom. Shane McMahon was dead on arrival. 45th elimination, the next elimination is Bobby Lashley, Chris Jericho after that, Kevin Owens, and then it's down to Daniel Bryan, Big Cass, and Braun Strowman. Daniel Bryan actually tried to eliminate Braun Strowman by himself, and there was a part where it's like, oh my god, Daniel Bryan's actually going to do this, and of course, no. He ends up eating a big boot by Big Cass, and it was down to Strowman and Big Cass. Daniel Bryan eliminated from number 1. He is the 48th elimination out of the 49 men that he lasted 1 hour, 16 minutes, and 5 seconds. Daniel Bryan will hold that record unless we do another Greatest Royal Rumble next year, unless they go 50 men in the original Royal Rumble, and someone else is the number 1 spot. And they are the Iron Man. Big Cass looks to try and eliminate Strowman. Strowman ends up crouching him on the top rope. He does the rope up and down thing, messing with Big Cass's balls, and he ends up knocking him off, and Braun Strowman is your winner. Winner of the match gets a nice, cool-looking huge-ass trophy with a couple colored blades and all that good stuff. It says Greatest Royal Rumble. That trophy looked a lot bigger than I thought it would. WWE likes their big trophies. And they get a WWE Championship that is in the style of the WWE Championship, only the logo on the front is something that has to do with Saudi Arabia with the WWE logo in the middle, and then, of course, 2 Saudi Arabian logos on the side. So Braun Strowman is your Greatest Royal Rumble winner. And outside of this match, which was a lot of fun, it was a lot of fun. I guess I said Daniel Bryan or Braun Strowman was going to win this match, so I'm taking the caveat on that and saying I got it right. The rest of the show, except for AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura and the Cruiserweights, this show was shit. Oh yeah, MVP of the Fatal 4-Way ladder match was The Miz. He had himself a hell of a match. He put on a hell of a show in that match. And of course, Daniel Bryan is the MVP of the Royal Rumble. You can't give that MVP to anybody else but Daniel Bryan for his one hellacious match and stat. And unlike most people who are just sitting in the corner for the majority of the match, yes, towards the end he did take a shot from Braun Strowman or somebody and was powdered out. But for the first, I think, 50 minutes of this match that he was in, Daniel Bryan was going up against somebody. It wasn't like when Rey Mysterio did it where half the time he's just sitting off in the corner resting. Daniel Bryan was in this match fighting for a majority of this match. So Daniel Bryan was your Iron Man. Will they build on this on SmackDown Live? Maybe a WWE Championship opportunity later in the year? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Gonna be interesting to see how WWE, what WWE does to give Roman Reigns another championship opportunity, which he does not deserve. He got screwed. So what? He's not the champion. He wasn't the defending champion. He does not get another title shot. Braun Strowman, who just went through this Rumble match, even though it was no titles opportunity on the line, should get the next title shot. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. But that is your Royal Rumble, Greatest Royal Rumble review and results. I am getting out of here. I will be back for Unscripted. I think I'm going to have to do Unscripted on Sunday this week just for the fact that this has been taxing on me. I'm going to need to take a day to get myself together and everything, and I will have Unscripted this week on Sunday. Just let me know. Find me on Twitter at TheFrance. Find me on twitch.tv/TheFrance08. Make sure to smash that like button, comment down below, hit that subscribe button, and see you on Sunday for Unscripted, and then Monday for the Monday Night Raw after the Greatest Royal Rumble, where we'll see where they try and do everything they can to shove Roman Reigns down our throat and give him another title match, even though he does not deserve it. Until then, I will see you guys later, and have a good one.